Yeah, look, I think Alan Wynne is probably going to be out for the next couple of weeks. Minimum is something that we're probably going to review after a couple of weeks and see where he's at with that. But he's probably out to he'll definitely be out to the next 2 games, and then we'll probably come back to you when we've got more of a clarification on how long it's going to take him to get back up and running.
The Ghana said he might be out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, look, I think this time frame is going to be put in it, but he's under assessment. He's had a little bit more of assessment. He'll have a couple of injections and things going forward, but to formalise a plan and how we're going to manage Al going forward, I think is something I don't really want to get into too much detail on it now.
I want to go just obviously after that.
Yeah, he took a heavy concussion, so it's something that he'll have to go through all the protocols. He hasn't come in over the last couple of days, so it's something we'll just make sure. And at the end of the day, put Justin at the centre of his welfare, so something we won't be rushing him back. It'll be something that he's got to go through stages and protocols, but at the minute he's still pretty banged up from it.
So he's out for
I would say he probably is going to definitely probably miss the weekend, and then we'll review it as it goes along, because there's a lot of protocols he's got to go through, and such a heavy knock. He spent the night overnight in hospital as well, so it's something that with these head injuries and concussions, you've got to put the player firmly at the centre of any decision regarding selection.
Have you got the players to sort of cover for those schools?
Yeah, I think you ain't got much of a choice. It's something you've got to find a way. Obviously, not having the likes of Lloyd Ashley and people like that fit at the minute, it takes its toll on sort of an experienced squad. But it's life. It is. We've got to find a way, and we're hopeful Tyler will come through for the weekend. But Rory's done a good job. He's developing all the time, and with Sam Undrill, he's proven on the European stage that he can sort of fill Justin's shoes in around physicality and some of his work. Obviously, he's a slightly different player, Justin, but we've got Sam and Ollie Cracknell, who a lot of the young kids through these windows have really developed, and you look at from the start of the season to the last block of games we've just come through, I think there's real development showing with them, and Ollie played 7 a couple of times, so we ain't got much of a choice in it, and these boys have stepped up and they'll enjoy representing the Ospreys, and they'll do that in the right way.
Is Tyler injured?
Yeah, he's just having a little bit of issue around his knee, but we may see how that settles over the week. We're still hopeful that he'll be able to feature the weekend.
With your Wales boys, is it going to be done on a case-by-case basis this weekend, whether or not you use them?
Yeah, I think so. It's something that, like obviously Paul and Kingy, the guys who haven't played much rugby, will definitely come back into contention. But I don't think it's just about the Six Nations load. It's about a World Cup window, about the pre-season they've had going into World Cup, coming back, playing majority of our European games. It does take its toll on these guys, and we're just assessing these guys whether they're in the starting 23 for the weekend's game.
I mean, usually you would want to ease them back in, wouldn't you? But with
Yeah.
the derby coming as it is, and with your situation, I mean, there's not much room to manoeuvre.
No, we haven't got much margin for error, but also we've got, like, at the end of the day, we've got people who've really played reasonably well through these windows, and I think when you compare the start to this last block of games where the boys have gone to Connacht, Leinster picked up a good win in Munster, drew a Glasgow at home, beat a tough Edinburgh team, and probably could have won Leinster and Connacht game. So it's been a tough period for these guys, but in fairness, I think we've grown and got better when you compare the age of the team at the start of the season and the experience they've went through, that losing 5 games at the start. But I think the last block of games, I think we're really starting to see some of these guys develop and gain experience, whether it be through winning or losing. They're starting to develop and understand what it takes to be an Osprey, and at some point we've got to back these, because the international windows are getting bigger. You look at the World Cup, you look at the tour they're going on, and it's about the squad, and we've got to trust some of the individuals that have put in performances through the last sort of block.
What about those players? Reece Webb mentioned the likes of Owen Watkin and Adam Beard, and players that have been involved with the under-20s. How do you rate those, the next generation, if I can call them?
Yeah, I think the next generation, I think it's pretty exciting for us, and I think we're starting to grow a squad through like the money invested in the development system, because like you can't compete in other like angles of the game, but something where we've still remain competitive in everything we do is through the development arm, and then making hopefully some good overseas signings to go along with our youth. But you go like Nicky Smith's 21, nearly played 50 games. Sam Davis is coming up to 22, played nearly 70 games. Arbers is the same, 70 games. And then you've got Scott Orton, Rory Thornton's now coming up to 30 games, and they're all 20, 21. Owen's played games, and Sam Undrill's 19. So we bring them through quicker than ever, and they're not just coming in with a lot of experience, in particular a World Cup year where you're probably only going to get, like for instance Val, now you'll get them 6 games in a league campaign. So we've got to have thicker, fatter squads, whichever way you want to put it, and we've got to bring them through younger than ever. We haven't got a lot of those mid-range sort of guys, but it's something that they gain experience younger than earlier than ever. And to gain experience, you've got to go through some tough periods, which I think at the start of the season was tough for us, but then they learned, a lot of them, when you go back to the Claremont game, how many young boys we had on the field when we beat Claremont at home. Then you go to the last block, how many youthful guys we've had, and that's losing with the likes of Lloyd Ashley through these windows. And it is tough for them, but ultimately you only gain experience by doing. And I think the future is bright for us, but ultimately we still want to be in that European Cup competition next year, and we can't look too far ahead. We've got to be firmly focused in beating the Scarlets come next Saturday.
It's just a bit of a double-edged sword, I suppose, for you, because they're in the shop window, they do well, and obviously you lose quite a few in different blocks of the year.
Yeah, I think it is, and that's why we're probably tougher. You look at the Irish, they come out in like $6.5 million budget, we're nowhere near that, but it's something we still produce. I've seen Mounts of Welsh International, it's something we're really proud of, and you look now, Owen Watkin and these guys is being spoken about as potentially future Welsh internationals. We won't change it, we would never want to change it. It's something that we're pretty proud of, how many people we get to represent their country, and it's something that we've always prided ourselves on finding the next one and not being defeatist and around it. It's just we try to find a way or whatever we do. And you look back to the European Cup competition, I know we didn't get to the quarterfinals where everyone wanted us to. We get written off in that competition with all the young kids and a lot of injuries throughout that period. We still went to the final game after knocking likes of Exeter in second in their league. You look at Claremont, Bordeaux, the group do pretty well and remain competitive on all fronts. It's not where we want to be at this period in time, because we don't feel we're in enough control of what we do. But the only thing we can do is try and win our last 5 games, which we'll be doing our damnedest to do that.
Is it a shame, Steve, that this game comes straight after the Six Nations? For everyone involved, yourself, but also, perhaps ideally you want to take a breather after the Six Nations, because this is an important game in its own right. Yeah,
look, it's an exciting game, and look, you could look at when it is played. For us, it's just about being that next game. We know how good it is to get back to the Liberty, and our boys will be chomping at the bit to play, and we'll know there'll be a great crowd down there. They know that like the Scarlets are riding high and want to come down to us and probably put a nail in our coffin, but we need our supporters to come out, and irrelevant when it is, it's a great occasion, it's another derby, and whether it's a derby or not, we want to represent that shirt really well, and we want to win our games.
Is this one of the biggest derbies between the two regions, given what's at stake?
Yeah, I think it's probably up there in terms of, like, they're obviously looking for the top 4. We want to chase people down, and yeah, they're riding high, and it's something, but ultimately it is a big game for us, but we'll be preparing for it in the same as any other way. We understand how big an occasion it is, but ultimately some of our young guys are going to learn a hell of a lot playing in these games and hopefully coming out the right end of it.
And how do you assess them, Steve, this season, Scarlets?
Yeah, they've dug in, they've won some real tight games, and I think to get into top 4s you've got to nail those sort of tight ones, and they've won a few in the last minute of the games, and they've done really well. They've, like, at the end of the day, winning out in Ulster was outstanding game, and how they played about it. They were unlucky up in Edinburgh too, so it's something we know that they're in a good place. They're confident. They probably have a fair few boys coming back from international duty they'll be able to pick on, but it's something that is our home. We're pretty proud to play in the Liberty, and at the end of the day it's a derby, and we'll be fully focused in making sure we do what we do best.
Are you looking forward to the front row battle? They've got 2 Wales props. You've got internationals in your front row as well. Yeah,
and I think it's something, again, you look at there's some good matchups in around it, but when I think we're starting to grow, and like we say, the depth of our squad is getting better. You look at Garth Thomas, Nicky Smith, like RC, and then you've got Ryan Bevington who's coming back into training, so I think we're starting to build, and people who have done it now, like Garth Thomas has had good experiences throughout this block, Nicky Smith even more. Then you've got Scott Orton, Sam Parry who've come through, Baldwin obviously playing another full Six Nations campaign, and after the back end of a World Cup, so our stocks are getting a little bit better, and having Javi back, Mafu had some good rugby out in Leinster, Dimitri's been away on international duty as well, so we'll assess to see how they pull up over the next couple of days. But yeah, we feel pretty confident in where we are up front, and it's something that we'll be looking forward to that challenge come Saturday.
You've got a couple of selection really good players in form. And also in the Lions for Brendan and Reece.
Yeah, look, I think that's what we're striving to be, is competitive and growing a big squad, and like, there's selection dilemmas in the back row as well. You've got Ollie Cracknell, James King, Lids, you've got obviously Tyler comes into those mixes, Baker, Under, if Tips was fit, and that's where we want to be. We'd like a little bit more selection editing around the second row at the minute, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, it's having those people fit at the right time, so hopefully you'll be able to manage a group properly constantly, so you don't get overplayed or underplayed. We've got to manage our squad, and I do generally think probably we're starting to get to that point where we can leave people out and some other boys will come in and do just as good a job, which is exciting for us going forward.
And you're hopeful of a big crowd?
Yeah, definitely. Pete's assured me there'll be a big crowd down there. But no, it's something that, yeah, we're pretty excited. We know how big the game is, how our support has been fantastic for us all year, and the boys obviously need that huge crowd in around the Liberty, and our boys do thrive on that, and there's no better place to do it than Liberty against the Scarlets.
Steve, one captain sometimes isn't shy making a few left field inclusions. For the summer, New Zealand, could you expect a few of those under-20s, crop yours, to go to New Zealand? The likes of Owen Watkin, Rory Thornton, and I thought Rory's been involved obviously. Yeah, Rory had the World Cup campaign and training and stuff. I see Rory is a little bit further down the track than Adam Beard. Beardy is doing really well, and he's not too far away. He come on out in Leinster, done a good job. Out in Munster, he come on in the back end. We're pretty comfortable where we're at with these young boys, but I would say development, we don't think is slinging all young kids in together. It's making sure that when they come in, it's appropriate and you look after them. But yeah, Owen is developing, but there's still a hell of a lot in around conditioning wise and in around the game. Defensively, there's a big step up from the 20s to the regional and European games, and I think it's something that we've got to manage these boys correctly and make sure they've got their feet in the ground and they're doing the job at regional level.
When are their big threats, the Scarlets, this weekend, Steve?
I think they're a massive threat over the ball with James Davis and Barkley. They're playing there, and I think the counter-attack, and obviously if Liam's playing, Hadley Parks had a real good season, Regan, they got DTA, so they're pretty sharp outfit in fairness, and they got good choices of nines. Front row is pretty decent, so yeah, I think they're a pretty confident outfit. They're sitting pretty well on the table, and I'm sure they'll be relishing coming down to us on the weekend.
That's going to be a great test and a battle between Sam Underhill, if he plays, and James Davis.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be good over the ball, and Sam's physicality has been spot on, and whether it be Ollie or whoever, it's something that at the end of the day, you wear the Ospreys shirt, and it's not only going to be down to Sam Underhill against James Davis, it's going to be about us being physical in around the tackle contest. If you want to play with any speed of ball, we've got to deal with those threats. We've got to look after it a little bit better than we have done in some of the last games, and make sure we play in the right areas. But ultimately, when we've got the ball, we have to be physical in around what we do.